Justin Gatlin is the latest in a long line of sprint sensations to emerge from the USA.
Gatlin got a good start. Look at this man coming through now. Gatlin. What a fantastic performance from Gatlin. It's all about Gatlin.
Ultimate goal is to be one of the best sprinters in history.
What a fantastic performance from Gatlin, and look at the time.
It's the American leading the Jamaican at the moment.
He knows he is the world champion.
Justin Gatlin is the world champion here in London.
Hey, what's up, everybody? We're back with another episode of Ready, Set, Go. We in the building. We have a special guest today. We are here at AP Ranch. It's amazing.
It's amazing. Right? It's amazing.
When you look around us, this is just a piece of what AP Ranch has to offer.
Yeah, man, it's a dream.
So it's a dream come true for athletes. Y'all know who the co-host is, man. The bearded wonder himself.
Bearded wonder. It's actually taking off now. People actually calling me the bearded wonder. It's crazy.
It sticks. It sticks. But our special guest today is Mechelle Freeman, Olympian, co-founder of Track Girls, and also Olympic successful relay coach herself. Thank you for coming to the show. What's going on, girl?
Head relay coach.
Head.
Oh, and founder of Track Girls.
That's what I did. We said founder.
You
Yeah.
said co-founder.
I said founder.
Are the sole founder.
I'm the sole founder.
I thought it was you and your sister. No.
No.
Oh, okay. We had that wrong. It's just her. She is her. She is her.
She is her. I like it. It's all good. I share when appropriate.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
You play well with others.
I play well with others. There we go.
But clearly it shows through all the relay success and everything else, man. You want to go through a little bit of your past. You know you're an Olympian. You were a former track and field athlete. Where'd you compete at?
Yeah. Oh, it started in the streets. Yeah, it started in the streets, getting challenged at the cookouts. The boys wanted to beat the fast girls, and it took off from there. Playing sports, my sister and I grew up. Basketball was our first sport, and
Twins.
I have a twin sister.
I don't think a lot of people know that you have a twin.
Oh my goodness, yes, twin sister. We were known as the Lewis twins growing up, but now we're known as the Freeman twins because we both married Freemans.
For real?
Yeah.
No relation.
They brothers or cousins?
No,
No
like
relation?
random Freemans.
Wow.
Yes.
Who went first?
She did.
Okay.
Yeah, she went first, but yeah, I did not intentionally find a Freeman. But from there, the basketball team turned into the soccer team, and we were fast on the soccer field. And eventually, they just said, you have to run track. You have to try out for the track team. So by the time we got to high school, I'm from Prince George's County. I love PG County, Maryland, being from Maryland.
Shouts out PG County.
Hey,
Maryland in the house.
Oxon Hill in the building. But from there, we just realized our potential. That was our first time understanding our true talent, our gift, and just how we performed and won championships and, just had success. And that's just opened the door for life. I would say track and field. We went to the University of South Carolina.
Oh, SC.
Listen. Coach Fry.
That's where we met.
Yes,
that's where we met.
at
Yeah.
Coach
University
Fry had all the baddies.
He did, bro.
College. We had Tennessee. Yeah,
Listen,
SEC.
Yeah.
We had an amazing team. That's where
We know you had
Oh,
a
we know.
the South Carolina
We
Track
love to watch
Girls.
y'all run.
Yeah. The South Carolina Track Girls. See, no, it was about sisterhood. That's when we learned about sisterhood.
Oh, we weren't worried about
You
no
did. Y'all were
sisterhood.
tight.
We were
Listen,
learning
if
about.
we know South Carolina was going to be at the Florida Reloads or something, boy, you had your fit laid out. You'd be like, well, I don't know what Coach Fry doing. We had all the baddies out there, though.
We would go down the list and say, all right, coach, what am I running this week? I'm running the 60. I'm running the 200. All right, hold on. What team's going to be there? South Carolina? Okay, I'm ready.
See, we had significant talent.
Yeah, man.
Yes, on our team.
You had other twins on there? You had the
We
Barber
had
twins?
the Barber twins.
Demetria Washington.
Lashonda Demas came
Demas.
through.
Yeah, what y'all
Siobhan
got?
started.
Yeah, Erica Ripple.
Yes, that's who we won our national championship with. Tiffany Ross Williams.
Shalonda Solomon.
She was just after us.
You-
When I graduated, I don't want to age myself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but we won the national championship in 2002.
Hold on, Aileen Bailey?
Aileen Bailey was on
Aileen
our
Bailey,
team.
yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
I
Like, that's
remember she used to do the whole...
on our
Yeah.
national championship team. That's Aileen Bailey. We
Shout out to
had
Aileen. Well, she's somebody else now. She's married now, but Aileen, I remember.
we had a tremendous force on our national championship team, and from there, I didn't think I would run anymore. I actually took some time away from the sport.
You did?
Yeah, I did. 4 years.
Yeah, it was a long time.
4 years. But I went on to work in New York on Madison Avenue in advertising and marketing, got my graduate degree in marketing. But I didn't think, I thought I was done with the sport. And then 2 years before 2008, I got the itch of coming to compete again.
What made you have the itch though?
Just seeing, everyone was still competing. South Carolina, all of my teammates were making Olympic teams, 2004, World Championship teams in 2005. The success that I was seeing, I was training with those athletes every single day. And that inspired me to say, you are that talented as well to stand up for your gift. And I wanted to take a chance on myself and quit my job and actually started training full-time again to come back and make this Olympic team in 2 years.
And you did.
It actually happened. Just on that, it took 9 months after training, I made the World Championship team in 2007. And that was a real first test. That's when they took top 4 back then, not the top 3 next fastest 2. And in the semifinal, when you look at the heat sheet and you're like, dang, I got the heat in the semifinal. That's the only one. You had 2 semifinals. One was either like stacked.
Or the one you can just walk across the line.
Or one you were like, all right, I'm good. yeah.
We call that the lottery.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So I had that heat and I was like, nobody knew who I was. You know what I mean? I hadn't run in 4 years. And we crossed that finish line and my name came up in the 4th spot by 100th of a second. And I ended up going on to make the World Championship team. I got 5th and was for the relay pool. However, Allison decided not to do the double because she finished right before me in 4th. And that's when we had 4 spots because Lauren Williams was the returning world champion.
From 05. From 05.
Yeah, so when I was on site in Osaka, they said they had a spot in the 100s. And all of a sudden, I went from a cubicle 9 months before to running 100 meters in world championships in
the
Osaka.
grand stage.
I didn't know where I was.
So you didn't even know that you was going to run the 100 until you was there?
Until 2 days before.
What?
Yes.
Man, that's a testament to your story of
2 days
actually
before.
betting on yourself and dreaming on yourself and it happening for you, man.
Yes.
That takes a lot of guts. A lot of people can't walk away from a job and do what you did. So I definitely applaud you on that.
Yeah, a lot of faith. I take that time off in those 4 years. I would say the development, it really came in understanding my values, standing up for just the anchor of how I make decisions. What works for me, what doesn't, what lines up to what I believe in. And if I say I'm a faithful person and I have these values, then you have to operate that way. I have to operate in a faithful way and a way of excellence and those things that I held myself accountable for. And so I just made decisions based off those things and the results actually lined up to that.
That's an amazing story, amazing journey.
Yeah.
So now that you at the Olympics and everything, what was your most memorable moment like from your Olympics and your professional career?
Oh, man. First, just going back, like from Osaka, I was the first one out of the final. That's when they took the top 4 in each one, like I said. So I was mad because I had a faster time than the person that, made any type thing. So I watched the final. And that's when I really understood that I belong here. I'm one of them. And so going into that 2008 year, it was just a different mindset of understanding that I know how to compete with the best women in the world. And the Olympic year, I finished, I believe, 7th at the trials. But, people were doubling and things like that. So I was selected for the relay pool. And I was excited because I actually made the team. I actually set out to do something and it really happened. But I didn't know if I was going to touch the track. That's always the thing with the relays. I've been in that position of not knowing if it's going to be me. In Osaka, I ran in the prelims of the 4x1, and not the final. So I knew my role and I understood that, and I knew that may be the case, or I may not touch the track at all. I found that I was running 2 days before the semifinal, and to that point, I had done everything.
What's up with you in these 2 days?
I don't know what the 2 days is, the 48-hour rule. That's why I'm prepared for pressure moments, okay?
Clearly.
I am prepared for a pressure moment. But 2 days before they set us down, they called you in a room and you were either told that you were selected or you weren't. And they just said, Lewis, you're running second leg. It was important that you just showed, I remember at relay camp process, in the process of, I can do it all. You need me first leg, second leg, third leg, fourth leg. I was a utility runner. I can be dependent on to get the job done. Mm-hmm. And that was important. That's the important part of the relay. That's an important part of the USA Relay program, because you have such little time. You have to look at somebody in a moment and say, I believe you can get this done. And I wanted to show that, and I did. And that's the way I still look at, the athletes that I work with, or the women that I know can get it done. But I remember just walking into the stadium and processing that moment of 2 years ago, I was on Madison Avenue, and here I am, one of 4 women in the United States. It could have been anybody.
Was that something that sat with you for a while? Like every time you came into a high pressure moment, you felt more thankful or grateful?
Oh, the gratitude.
Yeah.
That's the first sense, is it can be me. And I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful right now. So thankful right now for being trusted to be able to handle a gift like that.
Well, I mean, it could be divine appointment too, based on how you went through the relay selection process. You understand from the very bottom level of what it feels like to not know if you're going to touch the track, to touching the track and being a part of a great legacy of United States relay running.
Oh.
So now you're at the head part. So
yeah.
None of them can't tell you any girl who's selected for the team you don't understand. Because
Oh,
you do.
I understand.
You do.
Yeah, I understand. I've been running relays and winning relays since I was 16 years old. High school nationals, summer track, going into South Carolina. And relays are just a part of my DNA. I love the relays. I love coming together and looking left and right and knowing I'm about to go into battle with some of the best people who can do this.
It brings a different energy out.
It brings a different energy.
Yeah.
I love the relays.
Relays be making me so anxious. Oh. Because, as an individual runner, you can be like, all right, I can check off all, I'm ready, my starts are ready, my top end's ready, I'm ready to do this.
Yep.
In individual races.
Yep.
In those relays, it's like you have to have a sense of like synergy.
For sure.
And also self-accountability, but also, you can count on your sisters or your brothers to help get the job done as well.
To get the job done.
Yeah, so when you standing there and the gun goes off and you watching your teammate run around that turn, you're like,
oh, she get me.
You got to snap out from being like that spectator.
Oh my God, I know, right? But that happened to me in 2008. The gun goes off. Angela Williams is coming out the hole.
Woo!
Yes, getting it. We're in lane 2.
Powerhouse. I remember Angela Williams.
Yes, Angela Williams.
Yeah, she won like NC's like 4 times.
4 times, the only woman to do it.
That's crazy. Shout out to Angela.
I got to run with the best women to ever do it. Angela Williams passed me the baton, and I got the baton and on the backstretch and did what I had to do, passed it to Tori Edwards. Tori Edwards was our Olympic trials champion. She was running really well that year, but she had never run third leg.
That's crazy.
Wow.
She had never run third leg. And I always take this moment with me as a coach to this day. That's why it's important to understand the demands of the legs and then understand who's executing the demands of those legs the best. That's critical. I learned that from that moment. She was third leg, and then Lauren Williams was anchor. And I became a spectator once I passed, because once you pass, and it wasn't perfect, but I know how to make an adjustment. That's what's critical in the relays. You got to know how to make the adjustment. And I'm like, yes, I'm done. But now I'm a spectator, and I'm watching it like everybody else in the world, and we get to that final pass. The men had just had an unsuccessful pass on that same exact zone 20 minutes before us. And then I watched this nightmare of the exact same thing happening to us and having a failed pass from 3 to 4. Yeah.
So what was the reason of putting Tori? Because probably Tori was used to running anchor, right?
Yeah.
And we know that there's politics that come with being on the relays. And obviously Lauren Williams was Lauren Williams at that point in time. So opted for the anchor. And Angela Williams is the firecracker starter that we know she could be. So that's her spot. What made it to where you was on that backstretch and Tori was on that curve?
So when I look back at that, I look back at their intention of the final. So if I assume how things would go how they were planning on it, we would be in the final, and then you would have Allison, who typically runs
Step
on a
in.
backstretch.
Yeah.
So you're thinking about putting people in those places that, you have to consider, where have these athletes typically run in this pool? Like, what legs do I have based on the selection? You got automatic selection on your top 3, then you have your relay pool, and you're trying to make it all work.
Yeah.
Right? And so you have Allison, who usually runs second leg. And you have Lauren Williams, who usually runs, not on the straightaways and not third leg. Let's just say the leg.
Yeah.
Because it's always third leg.
So you're operating with 2 anchors, a backstretch, and a starter.
And a starter. And Lauren can start too. She started before as well. But you have the issue at 3 in this particular scenario. So you have to figure out who's going to make the adjustment. And you pick that person that you think is going to be best to make that adjustment. And it just didn't work out that way. But I learned from that, and that you have to make sure that whoever you put in these places, they are prepared and have shown that they are executed. And it's not the first time they're doing that at a global championship.
Do you pick an athlete with a higher IQ usually to go those positions that they're not used to being in? You know what I mean? So
you have to, because I say that, but then you have to sometimes, let's say you're put in a position where you feel like you want to take that risk, right? You have 200 runners. So now you're looking at, okay, if I need a third leg, and who has the most experience managing that turn at high velocities, that's your 200-meter runners. Now, who does that well? You're looking at a 200 runners, 130 meters, for instance, just because that's the length of the third leg running opportunity. Then, if you have some type of data to demonstrate that this person has done that well, now you're minimizing your risk, and you can focus on developing the areas that you need to focus on. That may be the pass, the actual pass, the zone work. So if you take off half the box of having somebody that has that, at least that comfort of navigating a turn really, really well, then you don't have to deal with different variables in a short amount of time. You can focus on one area of development, and I think that's critical. You can't have too many things to fix in a short amount of time.
So you guys now, I mean, you said something you guys rely on analytics now as far as like technology.
Yep.
So you lean more to technology rather than to what your eyes are actually seeing now.
Yeah, I mean, you got to keep in mind, Justin, when we were on our relay pools, we weren't tracking baton speed. We weren't video analyzing, using a video analysis to track how we were moving the baton. And so over the years, I started in 20.
We didn't even know what that was.
We didn't even know. That's what I'm.
All we knew was run fast.
Run fast, get the pass off, and use your speed. But when I came in, I saw an opportunity that the skill side of the 4x1 needed to be valued more. And I started just to say, hey, we need to see who is moving the baton. What are the components of moving the baton as fast as possible? And over the years, as the assistant coach, I noticed there was 3 main things. One was the takeoff mark read. Everyone was reading the mark in their own way, and they were leaving early 80% of the time.
Wow.
That means that we were having the way we were reading the mark. It's an error there.
And I understand that. And the relays I've been on in the past, I had to kind of like self-teach I was self-taught on how to be able to navigate through relays and high pressure situations. No one ever taught us those situations. So I always say like, okay, if my adrenaline's going and I know I see the step right there, the tape right there, and he's 2.5 steps before the tape and I leave early,
right?
I know that my first 2 steps have to be soft.
Yes, you make the adjustment.
So you can make the adjustment and balance it out. Yeah.
Yes, and you still want those athletes to make the adjustments because it's not going to go right. However, the intention is teaching how to read the mark so that you already have that in you. So when you're in that high pressure situation, you're not overanalyzing.
Yeah.
And if you do, you make the adjustment, but at least you have gone through repetition of intentionally knowing what I'm looking for. So it was just putting more intention of how we're reading the mark. I want you to move at this point, what your eyes are looking at. how to make the adjustment. Like you said, you have to discuss those things.
You have to.
If you take off early, you still can't just take off.
Yeah.
And, you know what I mean? You have to be able to make those adjustments. So you have to have those conversations. The second thing was the acceleration. People were covering 0 to 20 because I realized that you get the baton at 20 meters. That's about the sweet spot,
The optimal spot
of matching the velocities that you're going to get in that 30-meter space between the two runners, of one decelerating and one accelerating and meeting at that point. And the acceleration is someone consistently moving over 0 to 20. So you have to start getting data on how someone is covering ground from 0 to 20. Are they consistently doing it? Are they pushing? Is that first step a step back? Are they really pushing?
We had none of this when we were growing up. None of this.
I know. So now you know how somebody is moving from 0 to 20, so you can measure their takeoff mark appropriately because you know how somebody's coming in. Now you're measuring maximum velocities, how they're covering ground on that last 80 to 130 meters.
Who's dying off?
So now you can create your takeoff mark formula based on real things. Acceleration pattern, deceleration.
So now you've met science with actually
art.
relay now in art. Yeah.
Yes.
So since you do that now, would you say that gave you in your triple goal success with the 4x1?
Hold up, say it again.
Your triple goal
Triple
success.
gold success. Team USA.
Yes.
Oh
The
my
triple
God.
goal success. Analytics is playing a part in
big
all
part.
3 years.
A big part, and not in all 3 years, mainly because of your decision making. Your decision making is not just fastest 4. Your decision making is now who is executing baton speed, who is executing the demands of the legs. Now you can make your decisions based off who's doing the demand the best, and that's the best team.
But let's be clear. This is America. So the reason why leg speed is not a thing is because this is America, right? You guys always have probably maybe the top 8 fastest people that you could switch and swatch
Yep.
and still
The
get
interchangeability,
a color of a medal or
for sure.
high percentage of gold. As for other countries, they don't have that luxury.
Right.
It's either 4, maybe 5, or maybe 3, and you got a hopeful. In the case of South Africa,
They have practice though.
where they use the high school kids.
Yeah.
You know, you have 2
The same thing with the Bahamas for the World Relays.
yeah.
Remember?
Yeah,
And,
for sure.
You
They
have
had to
2
use the
super elite
yeah,
runners
You're right.
and 2 very underperformed
Mhm.
athletes, or they've never been in that moment who you have to say, okay, they are running on adrenaline. So based on that's why leg speed doesn't really matter here.
Well, it does. It's a mix. It's a mix of speed and skill. It's just that the skill had to be recognized in the 4x100 meters in a way that I saw that area of opportunity. It was not being maximized, like the skill side of the 4x100 meters. And now you can demonstrate this person is the best person to run third leg because of these things.
You have data. You have data now.
You have data.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
ask you a question that's gonna put you in a little bit of pickle. So, who in the last 3 years would you say would get the MVP of skill in baton passing
Yeah.
and receiving?
Oh, I mean, that's fine. I don't mind speaking because that's technical. You know,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
So,
that's
who would you
technical.
say in your evaluation and your experience, who you know, hey, if this person's healthy, I put them anywhere. They have the highest IQ. They have the best
Yeah.
chance of me
I
succeeding.
mean, I have a
no matter-
couple of people. TT Terry has been on all 3 of our gold medal winning relays, for the last 3 years.
That is right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
shout out to TT.
And in different positions.
And in different, yes, that's what she's a utility runner, someone you could depend on a relay. She can, you can communicate what you need from her and she can apply it and get the job done. That's really great about TT. If something doesn't go well in the 2023 team, that mark was missed with Tamari coming in and you saw how Tamari ran up. So the read was missed. So if plan A doesn't go right, you have to go to plan B. She stays poised. She still goes through the motions of what her role is and doesn't bat an eye. And that's why they were able to still get that pass off, because no one's panicking. You still go through what you need to do, and you can depend on her to understand how to do that in that pressure moment. TT knows how to handle pressure.
She's hyper-focused.
Oh,
She is,
man,
yeah.
shoot.
TT knows how to. She's a pressure. She knows how to handle pressure. Jenna Prandini is one of the best technical baton handling athletes that I have worked with. She can receive a pass. She can give a pass. She knows how to grab your hand, make the adjustment, read, decelerate, accelerate, whatever it needs to get done. And she runs a fast turn really, really well.
It makes sense now. No matter who is in the relay pool, you make sure that she's a part of that relay pool because of what she can bring to the table.
So depending on how your makeup of your auto selection, if you go to selection of the relay pool, top 3 are automatically selected to the pool. So you have to see what's the history of their relay experience. Now your discretionary selections, I had to start moving away from the mindset of descending order and completing the pool to support your auto selection. And so if you have no third leg in your auto selectors, and I say no third leg in the historical context of their experience, then you should be able, because you have the right based on the discretionary selection terms to pick anyone who's competed at the national championship in any event. So if someone got 5th place, but they were the best person and I needed that leg, then I will pick that person.
It's good that you're explaining that, because a lot of the track fans at home for the USA don't understand like how that happens. They're like, girl, she ain't even made the final, or she got 5th, or how did they select her? So that is a part of the selection process of the United States process. They get to pick anybody who was at the national championship.
Yeah, anybody who's competed in any event, you get those discretionary.
That's how we had the issue we did in 2015 for us, for the men's side. Earlier in that season, we went to World Relays, Bahamas, and we had our quartet. And our anchor was Ryan Bailey, right? Ryan Bailey is, I feel like to be an anchor, you have to be ballsy. You got to be fearless, because you got to run somebody down, you got to keep everybody off, right? And for whatever reason, he false started at the nationals, right? And I remember Dennis was the head coach at that time. Dennis like, go run the 200, just get off the blocks. I don't care if you come in last. You're a part of the relay pool, because we need you to, as a closer, that 4th leg, to get the job done. He decided not to. So now we one man down on what we needed. So then now we had to move someone like Mike Rogers, who's a utility guy, but he's more comfortable running either first or either he's running second. He's not really running anchor usually. We had to put him on anchor. And it's so important that you find the right athletes for those positions, especially that they're comfortable in that position too. It makes a world of difference.
You had to put people where they were the most comfortable, because you had the least amount of time with them. We're talking 4 days of relay camp.
I say it again.
4 days of relay camp.
So not even a whole week.
Once you know the exact team, 4 days of relay camp that you have to figure this out. So you have to use the data throughout the year. So by the time you go into relay camp, you already know. And then we have other touch points like going to training group camps and spending time with them there and things like that. But one spot with all 4 people at the same time, 4 days.
RSG fam, today's episode is sponsored and supported by our friends at True Nutrition.
And we're really excited about this sponsorship.
As an elite athlete in such a strict sport, we all know you have to know what goes into your body.
It's no secret that many health supplements carry harmful chemicals and fillers. That's why Justin and I are very excited to present to you True Nutrition.
True Nutrition is founded on bringing the highest quality ingredients. They go through multiple testing with multiple parties to make sure what is on the package is also in the package.
Along with complete transparency, they allow you to customize your own protein and green powder mix if that's what you want to do.
Sports nutrition designed by you. You can make any combination of protein and green powder you want. A flavor, a name, and nutrition designed by you.
They've personalized the nutrition game just for you.
They also offer a lot more supplements. From creatine to pre-workouts to electrolytes, you name it, they pretty much have it for you.
I chose the custom protein because of the add-ons you could add on. And my protein pack, I have maca powder and ashwagandha powder. True Nutrition is changing the game for you.
I love the True Nutrition custom packaging. It has your own serial number, so it's one of one. You've made it yourself. It tells you what flavor that you've already picked, and it shows you what your ingredients are down to the percentage. You have 60% grass-fed beef protein isolate. I have 14% collagen. I also have a boost of ashwagandha powder, reishi mushroom boost, and mushroom blend, all handmade, and it's signatured to tell you it is yours.
A simple packaging, simply because they're all about the nutrition, making sure you get your needs and there are no secrets or surprises to what's in the bag.
So, RSG fans, are you ready to lock in with the highest quality ingredients possible? For a limited amount of time, our listeners get 15% off.
That's 15% off your entire order when you use promo code RSG.
That's 15% off your order at truenutrition.com with the promo code RSG.
Justin and I are going to repeat this one more time.
So, for a limited time, our listeners get 15% off your entire order when you use code RSG at checkout.
That's 15% off your order at truenutrition.com with promo code RSG.
Take the guesswork out of nutrition with True Nutrition.
How many days you think that other countries practice compared to Team USA?
I didn't think I know this answer. But go ahead.
I really don't know this answer. I really don't.
Most smaller countries are practicing almost all the time. Like they create times around nationals. They create, like when they go back for their national championships, they create time around pin relays. They create time around world relays. They create time around training camps before the games. Like,
Yeah.
So you may see those 4 guys together 4 times throughout that season running that relay, possibly.
But
Yeah.
see, the gift and the curse with Team USA is that
Because
you can't just get 4 people because
it's the USA. Trust me, I
The
don't.
talent pool is so deep.
So deep.
And you don't know who's making a team.
You don't know who's making the team.
But the spring relay program has done better with getting our top athletes involved in that early year. It just still comes down to knowing the exact pairs. And you're not going to know that until you know who makes the team.
That's good.
And that's the critical part, is you don't have that. And so that's why it was important for me just to start a system. And my first time testing that system of measuring the baton speed was World Championships 2022.
Shoot, I'm glad we did. So 2022 was your first gold medal, first success, right? Let's walk us through like that whole process. That was the first time you being the head coach,
Yeah,
correct?
that was my first time.
So all eyes are on you.
All eyes.
All eyes are always on the United States because of the
Expectation.
expectation
Yeah.
and the controversy.
In the
And the controversy.
in the
So
curse.
Don't
Don't claim it, Justin.
I don't claim it. I don't claim it.
I don't call it a curse. I
I
call
don't
it a
claim it.
controversy,
Yeah.
right? So now, take us through like what type of pressures you're feeling emotionally of. Okay, I'm the person who has to get it done. Like what was that like putting together that team? Walk us all the way through
Yeah.
to the finishing leg where TT closes it out.
Oh, man. That's still one of the moments of my life that will give me chills forever.
Oh, yeah, it's your first.
That was my first, and it actually worked, like the plan.
Were you nervous? I mean, you're the head coach now.
Yeah.
You ain't the assistant no more. Like before, as an assistant, like you kind of
You have somebody
Give-
else to say, well, it's not my decision.
exactly. So now you the head coach.
Yeah.
Like, are you nervous? Are you anxious? Like, what does it feel like? And you putting this whole team together. And what was like the strategy in that moment?
Yeah. Well, so I've been the assistant coach since 2015. And up until that moment, I usually work with all the junior teams. And then I started working with the senior teams in 2019 when Justin broke the American record.
Yeah.
I was there. But just coming into it as the head coach, I had used all those years of experience and my relationship with the women. I had been working with TT Terry on those junior teams. Jenna and I had been working on previous teams. Our youngsters at the time, the Melissa Jefferson and the Abby Steiner, in that moment of time, they were really, really special. And watching them through that year, I can see how special they were. And it takes that magic on a relay sometimes that you really can't articulate. But Melissa Jefferson had it and Abby Steiner had it. And the thing about Jenna Prandini was that she was running really, really fast that year. And Jenna Prandini is one of the best technical third legs, in the world. And she was running fast too. So
A fast third leg?
a fast third leg.
Makes a hell of a difference,
And
boy.
Listen, if you can
That's what-
start off with a fast third leg,
That's where you see where the race is made. If you're not
That's where the
way out in the
stagger
front,
breaks.
that's where the stagger. You see who's really doing anything.
that's
at
what the
third
stagger
leg.
breaks. That has to be the person to handle the pressure, because the anchor leg is the baton pass where the last legs are the closest together. Everyone's standing together and it's the closest, because by that time the stagger is broken. So when you're coming in, it's a high level of distraction. And so you have to have a third leg that can navigate about to pass the baton to a horse, and is staying calm, keeping their composure, and managing that pass to not lose or give anybody any space to take away what you put up.
Yeah.
To that moment. So when we got to relay camp that year, I had to figure out, we also had Aaliyah Hobbs.
Yeah.
I
You
remember
know what?
that.
Yes,
Yeah,
we
I
had
do
Aaliyah
remember that.
Hobbs.
Yeah,
It was I didn't know. I didn't know what was
remember
happening
them
at the
tweets.
Yeah, it was,
That's it.
yes, I love
remember
Aaliyah.
them
I love
tweets.
Aaliyah.
I remember them
She is one of the most genuine people I have worked with. She will stand up and do what the team needs. It's been a pleasure working with Aaliyah. And this just happened to be one of my hardest moments to this point, dealing with her, because she had missed relay camp because she had COVID. And we found out the day before we were going to relay camp.
Wow.
And so my plan was, when I come in a relay camp, I was thinking that Jefferson's out the hole. She was, she was a 100-meter champion.
U.S. champion.
The national champion,
There's a national champion. Like, she was coming out the block. She was the 60-meter NCAA champion. She can handle coming out the hole. She was running 100 meters. She was going to be coming out the blocks the whole time. Great. The backstretch, Abby Steiner was covering 120 meters on a straightaway like nobody else at that time. Her frequency, her ability to sustain her top end without compromise.
Easy choice.
Easy choice. Third leg,
Jenna.
Prandini.
Prandini.
Yep.
If anybody was going to hold third leg down, it was going to be Prandini. She had the most experience and she was running fast. Anchor leg was where I was figuring it out going into relay camp. Was it going to be TT or was it going to be Aaliyah? And I didn't know at the time because TT already knew was an amazing anchor leg. And Aaliyah has her history of being an amazing anchor leg. So it came down to execution. And I got that call. And so I practiced TTs on anchor. So by the time we go to World Championships, Aaliyah finishes top 100-meter finisher for the women. And Prandini doesn't make a final. TT didn't make the final.
Ooh.
So now it's like you're going to be making a hard decision if you stick to what you said you want to do at practice.
So it's either bet on you or everybody's saying 20/20 hindsight in that situation. Like, she made it. Like, this is where she need to be.
She's the fastest 100-meter. There's no way you're not running Aaliyah Hobbs.
Yeah.
So that's where it comes in the relay coaching, is your decision-making and pressure moments. Are you going to do what you really think is best for the team and stick to it? Or are you going to
listen to everybody else?
Listen to everybody else and hit the pressure of what everybody else's expectations are?
See, but that's a funny
And
situation.
then when it fails,
yeah,
Then
It's
it's
on
your
you.
fault.
yeah. Funny thing is, that's what I was going to say. I said the funny thing is like everybody can make their decisions based on what they think, but their name's not attached to the relay. It's yours. It's who the head coach is. So do you feel like you're in a position of, if it works, it's like, hey, yay, and if it doesn't work, you're like, they throw you under the bus, or do you feel like it's like
the
that?
relay coach role is a tough position because it's like you even when you win, it's still hard for me to feel the fullness of that joy because someone's not happy. someone's not running.
Oh
Always.
yeah. Always.
Yeah,
I
you know what I
mean,
mean?
that's definitely
Yeah,
going to happen.
Yeah.
Like I said, we saw the tweets during that championships. They went out and people said some things, and but
Oh no,
I
with the
mean,
wins is in the warm up area. Like again, it goes back to gratitude. Like when you talk about me being a head coach and that pressure in that moment, the first thing is gratitude because God chose me to be here and do this. That means I'm equipped. Like I wouldn't be here if I wasn't equipped. So you're working to understand what God sees in you because that means you're ready. And it's just processing all those things to get to that moment of, what you're doing and to listen to yourself. I learned that the hard way because my hardest loss that year was the mixed relay. It was Allison Felix's last race.
oh yeah.
And in that moment, I didn't go with a decision for the final that I really, in my gut, wanted to do, and we lost. And I just never forgot what that felt like. And when going into the 4x1, when it came back to that moment of, okay, Shell, you know what you've been preparing for, you know what you see, how you're going to win. The strategy was the only way we were beating Jamaica that year, remember, they had the big three were ready. They swept the podium.
Mm-hmm.
They had the leg speed. The only way we were going to sneak the win was the baton speed. And so my plan was every space and every zone, we were going to make it up. So by the time TT got the stick on anchor leg, we had made up so much space in the zone that no one would understand that we were that far in front until TT got the stick. And the only 4 women that had gone through that practice process was those 4 women. And so to make that decision to run Aaliyah in World Championships after that loss in the mix, it was like, Shell, you know what to do. You better do it. And so I had to tell Aaliyah Hobbs that she wasn't running and her coach. And that was the very first time as the head coach that I had to make a decision like to that scale of controversy. And for that hour, once I turned those names in, I was scared as hell. Of course you're going to be scared as hell, but you also are faithful. And so your faith always has to be bigger than your fear. And when TT got that baton and we made up that space in the zones, like we said, and everybody executed the demands of their leg, TT told the team, the last thing she said to us before going in the tent and the check-in was, if you get the baton to me in front of everybody, I'm not getting walked down.
And she did.
Yeah, she did.
She
Yes.
closed it. So
she
what
says,
was that
nobody
like?
catching me.
When she hit that line,
Whoa!
and like you're watching and you see her hit, she hit the line and she dipped and
Oh
USA
my
come up on the
gosh.
board. What was that like for you?
41.14.
Were you in the stadium? Were you in the
I was in the warm-up area.
Watching
Oh,
on the TV?
yeah, watching
watching
on
on
the
the TV.
You like this, the whole...
Yeah. Like after the first pass, the first pass, I knew it. Like once the first pass happened to our favor and Jamaica had that little extra time on it, I was like, okay, we got it. We're in the lead. Now it's just executed and not losing. We practice exactly, just do it. Now you're just going through the motions. We did it. So once TT got the baton and we had enough space and she crossed, I jumped up and ran so hard that I physically could not breathe. Like I had to lay down because I could not breathe. I could not breathe. I was in that moment of just utter physical, overwhelming shock that I physically had to sit down.
It had to feel like a dream come true.
Had to,
Because it's like
'cause
your first year
Yeah.
as their head coach, and then you slay the giant of the big
Jamaica.
three,
Yeah.
and you did it in a way where it has never been done through our relay system. You was worried about the handoffs, more or less about the positioning.
hmm
And we always worried about positioning. And we just
Or
had
speed.
sloppy. Yeah, we already worried about speed and
Yeah.
positioning. We didn't care about handoffs.
We didn't like maximize the opportunity to on the education of it, the knowledge of it. And it was just, again, value in the skill side. Because the 4x1, we weren't looking at the 4x1 in its fullness. We were like fast 4x1, 4 fast people. But the 4x1 is 4 fast, skilled people. And that's what I wanted to bring to the relay program. So yeah, just truly grateful with that. But you got to remember, with the big wins, you always have a thorn in your side with all of that. And in that one, it's still the Aaliyah, because I truly care about her as a person. And she had to watch that. and not be a part of that moment, but she was a part of it because she ran in the prelims. And I want to be clear on this because I read a lot about this. Like, why would you run Aaliyah in the prelims if she had COVID? I've been working with Aaliyah for years. I can depend on Aaliyah.
Mm-hmm.
So if a scheduling doesn't have a scheduling, you have to consider the schedule. If you can't run all 4 of your finalists because of a schedule and you have to run someone, you're going to run someone you can depend on.
Exactly.
And so Aaliyah should be a part of our team. And if she could be in that preliminary, I knew she would do exactly what we needed to get done to make the final. So yes, you're going to run the prelim. But when it came time to maximize and like execute what we practiced for the win, that's when I went with what we practiced the most.
Yeah.
And it was a great job. So now you live in your life like I would call it a fabulous record. You know, first time they're gonna think of luck. Now you got to repeat, right?
Yeah.
So you going to Budapest.
Going to Budapest.
What was that like?
Oh my gosh. Budapest. Yeah. That was the year that we finally got to, that was the year that I finally got to work with Sha'Carri on a senior team. Because no one knows, but I worked with Sha'Carri on a junior team, and she actually ran third leg. And yeah, like Sha'Carri is an amazing third leg. She's an amazing any leg. That's what's great about Sha'Carri. But she's one of the best anchor legs that I have.
Oh, she showed it at the
Olympics.
Yeah,
she showed it. She showed the people running. She showed the world that she was the best anchor leg. So it was an opportunity to incorporate one of the most impactful track and field women in the history of the sport into the group.
Well, now who is this team now? So like people are gonna want to relive it. Right?
Yeah, you got Tamari Davis now.
Young Tamari Davis.
She's Tamari Davis.
Very
First
young.
leg out the hole.
But
First leg out the hole.
Tamari was also on the 2022 relay pool. She just didn't touch the track, but she was learning and executing, and she understood the system in that next year a little bit more. But you had Tamari Davis. You had TT Terry again.
On the backstretch
On the backstretch this time. And I did change the order that morning to a different order, but I'll go into that a little bit in a second. You also were bringing in Gabby Thomas. Gabby Thomas was on the 2021 Tokyo team.
Yeah.
And then in 2022, she was injured right before the national championships. So she was a part of the relay pool by the time we got to the summer, but it was just the other women who were just technically ready at that moment. So she didn't run in 2022. But now you have the return of Gabby. And then, of course, you have Sha'Carri, Tamara Clark, and Melissa Jefferson.
Wow.
Yeah. So we're starting to have a group of women that, have been understanding and working together now. It's not our first time in the system of the baton speed and things like that. So I can trust them to understand that a little bit more. With this team, it was getting big personalities to work together, getting everybody to be bought in. You never can compromise what's necessary, and that's to win. And no matter what, when we look around, you want to win, you want to win, you want to win. Okay, everybody's on the same page. Now, whatever happens from here, you can't compromise that. And if you do, then that's the standard of how we operate.
Yeah.
So that was just bringing everybody together to get everybody bought in to the cause. We broke a world championship record, the fastest time in world championship history. They have a potential, of course, of running faster. Anybody always can say that, but they know how to make adjustments. It's not just about running fast times, but it's about winning and making the adjustments to get the job done. And that's what you see in that relay when things don't go well. And I did wake up that morning and ask Gabby to run third leg. But again, Gabby, the relay, that you have to have somebody, like you said, you have to have IQ.
I call it track IQ.
Track IQ, yeah. Right, to ask somebody to do something like that. And somebody that understands the system enough. Like even the process, like how to read the mark, how to accelerate, how to make a pass, how to receive a pass. Once you stick to those things, then whoever I put around you should start to not matter, because the only thing that's regulating your movement are my takeoff marks.
Yeah.
And if I have the data to establish the interchangeability of last minute changes like we always have, then this will work. And it worked that we won. We still, pulled off the rivalry between Jamaica and us, and world championship record. So I'll take it.
So now it's okay. So you're having like a dream life now, right? First time as head coach, you get to go. Like I said, you go back, now you repeat. You got a second goal. Do you feel validated now? What's going on now? Do you feel validated as the head coach? Are people championing you, or you still hear the naysayers? You still feel
Yeah.
some type of way, like, man, I did this back to back. Like, y'all don't see it.
Yeah.
Like, what's happening?
Yeah. That's been a challenging part in my role. I think it's a mix of things. For some reason, is for some people, the bar just continuously moves, and it feels like no matter what you do, that is not enough to cancel. I mean, you're going to always have the noise, but I mean, I've experienced some of the most respected times of my life in this role, and um, you just have to keep moving because it's they can't. The work speaks for itself, and one day the appreciation may or may not catch up. But as long as you're doing what what you're chosen to do, you're getting the results, and the people who are in it are really getting out the benefit of being a part of our process, our system, then that's what the focus is on. I just try to stay smaller in the bubble and not go too far. Because it's always people who aren't running. It's always coaches who have athletes that they should advocate for. It's always the internet coaches who know how to put the 4x1 together better than you. But it's just I'm not going to lie, it's hard. I have gone through emotional and mental hard moments for sure.
You got all these talented women to buy in. 3 years in a row, gold medals, right? And every time a different quartet. How do you manage all these different personalities? Because, I mean, your job is to make sure the science, the skills there, so they can get around the track. But the blowback or the byproduct of doing that is that you have to understand and negotiate and navigate with all these different personalities. How do you get it done?
Yeah, I would say the majority of the job is the relationship management. I mean, you're managing 6 to 8 people, and you have 3 relay teams. I'm over the 4x4 women, 4x1 women's, and then, of course, my role in the mixed relay. It's important that when you are working with athletes, just what motivates them, how they communicate, what gets them to move. And it takes, I want to study my athletes all year. I'm looking at what they post. I want to see, what they're interested in so I can understand what makes them tick. Because you're in those moments when you got to get them to believe what you're saying and everything is on the line. It's got to be nothing else. You got to know what to say. You got to know what moves them. You got to know when you say something that may not go over well with them, and be willing enough to say, hey, if my intention is this. So if it came across wrong, I want to make sure that you understand. You have to be humble because you are dealing with people who are the best at what they do. And as long as you operate in that humility of understanding that it's 2 ways, like the value exchange, I'm learning from them, they're learning from me, then I think that's important in managing those relationships and navigating the personalities in a way as best as you can.
That definitely was good. So to Justin, what he said again, now you got the 3-peat, right? You got 3. And the reason why we talk about the 4x1 so much is because of the history of not being successful of it. Now that you have 3, do you ever look back at 2012 and is inspired by that world record team? Because in your head, like when you look at the legs that you possibly could have, that you could have a world record also at any given time from the USA.
Yeah.
Is that like an aspiration of yours at the next world championship or anything?
I mean, first, the goal is to win. Yeah.
Listen, if you're taking it in steps,
yeah.
those goals have happened just the last 3 times. So you have the first goal, then you have championship record.
Yep, world championship record.
So now you're going back to the world championship. You could break the world championship record again, or you can make them one and the same world championship record
and world record. Listen, I'm not mad at a world record. Yeah, I'm not mad at a world record. I will say that when you look at the strength of your relay pool, I have definitely seen the faces of world record potential on my 4x1s, my 4x4s. And that's a gift in itself. Now it comes down to all the external influences that how you navigate that potential, because each team is different. You're going to have, different personalities, or you're going to have schedule. What you're going to have weather. You're going to have, different components, injuries, and so in that moment, yes, I look at the pool of athletes that I have worked with, and we have world record potential. And one day, it will happen where the potential and the environment of the moment meets, and a world record will be broken. Of course, that's something that is I aspire for the team. Is there for us, but it will happen when all the components come together for sure.
That's good. Would you say the 4x4 is the least of your worries?
Heck no.
I mean, really? I think it's the easiest relay that handles itself.
I be feeling like when I sit there and when I was running, I had so much anxiety as part of the 4x1, but then I'll see like the 4x4 laughing and joking like, what we gonna do tonight, dog? Yeah, after we finish, go over here.
No, I understand what you're saying, because as an athlete, I felt the same way.
Yeah, you saw it. Yeah.
But as the coach, it has its own set of the 4x4
has a really rich history of gold medal winning.
It does.
And we ain't talking about gold medal winning by a little bit. We talking about a gold medal winning by a lot.
A lot of it.
Like, surprised you didn't win.
Yeah. If America didn't win the 4x4, everybody will be like,
I know.
It's crazy.
I know. Well, with the 4x4, the complexities come from selection. Because, and I say that because we've moved to a time on the women's side where our 4x4s are comprised outside of the main event.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're seeing 800-meter runners and 400-meter hurdlers and 200-meter runners who are running fast 400 meters, who you are increasing your pool of opportunity of athletes and decreasing other potential, for some athletes, because they're running the 400 meter a little bit slower than somebody who's not focusing on that event, but still running faster 400 meters.
Do you feel like that was your dream team you put together with Sydney?
And you almost got a world record.
What's your dream team? What dream team did you've already had that you feel like this is
the dream
stars
team
aligned for you? Like, man, this is an amazing team.
Oh, I mean, I will say, I don't want to say dream team, but I would just say the team that, like, where the magic happened. I have a couple. Like, one is the mixed 4x4 in Budapest with Alexis Holmes.
Uh-huh.
I mean, Alexis Holmes had finished in the semifinal of the 400, but I had worked with Alexis on previous junior teams where we were the world record holders in the junior 4x4. So I've worked with her there. She was the NCAA, record holder on the 4x4. So when it came time to a spot open in the summer, I had to pick another athlete. Alexis Holmes knows how to win. She was the first one out of the 400 meters, but she knows how to win. She went and ran a fast time. The women's 400 meters were running about 51 seconds that year in the pool outside of the top 3.
Okay.
She went and ran a 50-point low like 2 weeks before the championship. So the mixed relay is on day 1. And you don't have time to, see, do, look. You got to come and be like, okay, you're running based on what you've seen at this point.
Yeah.
And so I took that chance on her, one, from her championship experience, but 2, she had just run a 50-point. And I'm like, okay, Alexis, you're going to be able to do this. We had plans to bring in a substitute on the women's side, but on the prelim, you only get 1 sub in the mix. So in the prelims, in the mixed relay, you can't just say, oh, I'm going to run this prelim team to qualify for the final. You have to run a team that you are comfortable with being in the final because you don't know if things change. The men went out there. We had a time that was slower than expected. And so we were like, wait, we may have to sub on the men's side. Can our women really do it? We had Alexis running the prelims and we had Rosie Effiong. Long story short, we decided to keep the women, change the men. And when Alexis got the baton behind Femke Bowl, 0% of the people thought that we were going to win.
Yeah.
I got deflated for the first 150.
And this is like, this is Alexis for the viewers. This is her like come out moment.
This is Alexis' moment coming out to the world on who she is.
Yeah.
Like she's been a championship runner. It's been in her, but now that moment can meet that moment for her, can meet that opportunity to show them. And by the time she got to the 200, I was like, she's tracking her. Like I can see her tracking her. And I'm like, So at 120 meters was where I first realized that she was about to walk her down. And I stood up because I was like, she's about to walk her. And she just kept reeling her. And 10 meters before the line, to break down Femke Bowl like that.
That's big.
Is one of my most magical moments of a team. Being able to pull out a win like that when nobody thought you would.
Yeah.
So when I think about my teams, I think of it like that. Those different, every team has a story, a moment. And of course, we talk about breaking world records to your point. We always want to have a level of excellence. And when I see the strength of the pool and they have the potential to do that, then yes, the Olympic Games, I look around and I see that we have the potential to break a world record. So I go with the 4 women that I believe are going to do that. The main goal is to win, but I want to operate in the team's fullest potential.
I say you my relay coach. Right? And why I say this because I can't think back to anybody who has consistently won as big as you have, for one, men or female coach. With that being said, if you had the opportunity to come on the men's side, which needs a lot of help, right? What would you change and what would you do?
No, I walk away.
I'm just saying because it does. That you're sitting front row and you watching the inconsistencies from the men's side. It can get done. I feel like you already have a formula in your head that says this should be this and that should be that.
Yeah, I just think that it's really hard decisions that have to be made in a very high pressure moment. And some of those decisions go against a high majority of expectation. And either you're going to operate in that small chance of, that small window of what you really think is best,
mm-hmm.
or you have those external factors that are going to just outweigh that moment. And I'll just, if I coach any team, I would make sure that I always keep that standard that this is the best decision based on this process and this is why. Now, I may get fussed out really, really badly, but at least you're operating in a system that has proven statistically that you
successful.
And if we want to go back to school days, statistically, this is your best chance for winning, then I will make any decision based on that.
So we do a little thing at the end where we talk about, right today, if you had to put a relay team out there, 4x1, men and women, who would be your order?
And this is
Just
everybody's healthy. Everybody, from what you've seen in the past, everybody is at their peak.
Yeah.
What would be those 4x1s? What would they look like?
Ooh. Okay, so let's just go with, on the men's side, the demands.
And the order.
Yeah, I'll go with, in any country, right?
USA.
She's trying to stay away from that USA. You gotta be USA.
Oh, okay.
Remember, everybody's healthy.
Everybody in the history of it. I want to know how far I go back.
Yeah, I'll give you history.
All right.
You with the 3 goals in a row, you have qualified for
Yeah, you
history.
qualified
Okay.
for
Definitely
the
qualified for
history
history.
of the sport.
For the history, okay. The history. So first leg, ooh, you got Christian, Coleman, first leg is just undeniable. And he's on the American record team. So, that's pretty proven.
He's locked in. That's his spot.
You know,
He's
that's his
locked in.
spot.
He's
Listen,
on it,
you
yeah.
will pick them as well as athletes, as well as people at home. He's always everybody's first leg.
Yes, he's the first leg. I would keep the 1-2 the same with Justin because
You're just saying that because he said
Yeah,
No.
just saying that 'cause I'm here.
No.
That's okay, because
It's
I'm here.
he's on the American record team. But not only that, I looked at the data of that pass, and what Justin is great at is he takes off and he executes the zones, and they got the pass. Y'all passed the baton at 27 meters, and it was no panic, no, he, like TT, just still moving the way that's necessary to trust the process. And they had one of the fastest baton speeds. And that's what really, I use that as one of the examples of how you have to push the baton through the zone like that.
I didn't realize you were studying that.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Yes. I'm not picking people. That's what I'm saying.
based on analytics, you got it. Hey,
Yeah.
listen, other countries like our country don't have those things. Don't have those.
And listen, I know. The third leg on the men's side is the tricky one. I'm gonna come back to that one.
I think I know who your last leg is. But go ahead.
Who,
Yeah.
Noah?
I don't know.
Oh, I was about to say who you think my last leg was. I mean, I'm sticking to my, like, as best as possible. Who on the anchor leg?
So who is it?
I would say I would put Noah on the anchor leg.
I figured that was
Yeah.
that's what it'd be. Now
Yeah.
let's go back to this third leg.
Third leg.
Now remember, you have a team that ran the American record twice. And only one person was changed out of those, the 37-40? Only one person was changed on both those teams. It was John Drummond and Andre Kaysen. So, I mean, you could go back as far as you want, but that
Third
team,
leg, Andre Kaysen was,
he was first leg on that team.
yeah, third leg was usually Dennis.
Mhm.
Yes. And listen, Dennis, he did what he had to do to get the baton around the track. So let's go and put Dennis on third leg. Let's go and put Dennis on third leg.
That's an honorable mention, man. That man's still around today. That's a solid.
I don't know. The men's side, the third leg is where you got to figure it out.
It is.
That's where I started to realize, like, if you can figure out your third leg, because everyone, when you get to the U.S. level relay program, the third leg is the least run leg with your personnel, everything. So I just think the men, we have to figure out third leg.
I would love to see Arian get more exercise on that third leg.
He would be amazing.
That boy ran a hell of a curve, boy.
Yeah, I think we just need to figure out third leg on the men's side.
Yeah.
Once we figure out our third leg on the men's side, it will figure itself out.
Even though he ran a hell of a curve, like, you said a lot today in terms of, like, baton handling and speed of the zone. Like, when you take in all that account, I can understand now why somebody can't just throw a name out there and be like, oh yeah, they'll be great just because they run a good turn. So
No, for sure.
Yeah,
I mean,
so-
that's half the battle. That's half the battle. But
So-
you need somebody, manage the turn and the zones.
let's go on to your women.
On the women, ooh, why you doing me like this?
But you can pick it throughout history, though. You
Yeah.
can pick throughout history.
Yeah. First leg, I would say historically just going, okay, again, I like to go off of what we've seen from execution side. So from a world record side, in the numbers, no one has ever run a faster first leg than Tiana Bartoletta.
Yes.
Oh man, that girl, listen, boy,
Yes.
listen, boy.
She dedicated herself to that leg.
Well, listen, she got that little face she do. Like,
Yep.
when they slow it down and she be looking at the camera. Yeah.
Yeah.
Give it to you.
She should frame that. Man.
No
That's
one
amazing.
has ever run a faster leg statistically than Tiana Bartoletta. Second leg, I'm going to give you some numbers just to give you an idea. So 9.6 is what TT ran on the backstretch in Budapest.
Okay.
That was her fastest. Like, that's when she hit it,
Yeah.
there. Abby Steiner give you an idea, she ran 9.8. So you're looking at women that running between 9.6s, 9.8s. That's at the fastest speeds ever.
So for our fans at home who might not understand it and try to compare that to maybe a Usain Bolt or anything, these are on the fly.
On the fly.
So our guys do like 8 seconds.
Yeah.
When they are on the fly, 8, 9. So just for perspective, because some of our fans, they're not like,
they're gonna be like 9, 7.
9, 7. That means
9, 6. Yeah.
So for context reason, we have to.
Yeah, no, for sure. But then you have someone like a silent, like, runner, like killer runner, like Allison, who's still hitting those times, but you don't see it.
Yes, sir. The way she runs.
It's the way she runs. But she was hitting those ranges, on the backstretch as well. But then you go historically, if I left the best third leg in
So wait, I got your first leg. So who's your second?
I'm about to put it together. Yeah.
Because I was like, she just
If
ran
I'm
over
thinking
that.
about FloJo,
She's reverse engineering.
I'm
this.
reverse engineering. Yeah, I am. So, because I'm like, okay, who am I putting on third? Because I'm thinking about FloJo.
Okay.
Flo ran a good third leg now.
And Sha'Carri. And I'm thinking about Sha'Carri. And you got Evelyn Asher's anchor leg.
God.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Evelyn.
saying. Like,
Listen, Evelyn Ashford, boy. Listen.
Like,
She
so-
ran 10.7 back then.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so you got
tough one.
Sha'Carri's anchor leg, you got Evelyn Asher's anchor leg, but then you got FloJo on 3, and then you got somebody that's technical like Jenna. I don't know.
You gotta finish it. You just said all that to say. I said all that to say nothing.
Why are you doing that? I said that to not commit.
All right.
Okay,
I'm gonna let you ride on that
Okay,
one.
thank you.
You got to come back. We're gonna have you on the show again to talk about that.
Okay.
After you put another medal around your neck coming up this season, you gotta make
When
sure
I
you come back.
retire, I'll maybe go back to that.
We talked about a lot of things, but before we go, we want you to talk a little about Track Girls. That's on your shirt. Tell us a little bit about
Track
that. Tell
Girls,
us
yeah.
How did it start? How did you get this going?
Yeah. What is it? Like, what is the purpose of it?
Yes, Track Girls is my nonprofit organization.
And can I get a shirt?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Men can wear Track Girl shirts.
I got a track girl as a daughter, so I mean,
No, you can just wear it for yourself, but I'll get one for your daughter too.
No, I'm saying like I would wear it because my daughter runs track.
Yeah.
And I would represent.
Okay.
Yeah, not because.
But I do. I'll get you a shirt for sure though, for your daughter. But it's a nonprofit organization I started in 2015. Just knowing how the sport impact me physically, mentally, socially. I wanted to just be an access point, use my network to give girls opportunities. The same way I started running in the streets, my mom made sure we had access and to be exposed and to see and do. And I just want to make sure I'm that access point for girls that's starting out, beating the boys in the streets, to having those doors open to have opportunities to set them off.
That's a blessing, right?
Yes, it's been so good. I love, we have workshops for girls. We use our mentorship just to demonstrate different mental and performance tools inspired by track and field women. And then we have grants. We give girls grants, real money, resources to have access to track and field in their local communities.
You guys have a website or anything?
Yes, Track Girls with the
Instagram?
Z. TrackGirlsWithTheZ.com. It's rooted in just sisterhood. I mean, Track Girls is just rooted in sisterhood. I know if you competed in track at any point, maybe, yes, you could be a part of our movement as a mentor, but you don't have to compete in track and field to be a part and inspired and move by our organization. Track and field is just the gateway to help you develop mentally, physically, and socially. So look us up, follow us on Instagram. Please help us, come together and fundraise for our girls to have money to participate in a sport that has changed my life. And I want to continue to do that for girls all over the world.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. What's the next step that you want to do with Track Girls? Like if you had an end game, like this is where I want to be at.
Yeah. Well, right now I'm working on a curriculum that we teach in our workshops. So I want Track Girls to be available all over the world for third parties to be able to teach what we teach in sisterhood, what we teach on helping girls in their personal development at those middle and high school ages. Understand how the sport can be used for just physical activity and functional movement. But just our programming just having access to girls wherever they are. I just got back from Guyana as a sports envoy.
What?
Yes,
Okay.
and so just being able to work with, girls there and give them opportunity and still connect with them through what I do with track girls is important. So just being available, our workshops, having enough money to give out, just being everywhere, all four corners of the world.
You be out there, you be hustling, you be moving. We saw
Hustling.
you at Athlos, so you was out there getting
Out
it
there,
in.
I am trying Athlos, track girls.
There you go.
they-
Exactly. Hey.
it all makes sense.
I'm for it for
Yes.
sure. Mechelle, we appreciate you.
I
Very much
appreciate
so.
you. Thank you for the space.
We
course.
appreciate you. I'm pretty sure the USA is proud of you.
I hope so.
Women all around, I'm pretty sure that this will be a very inspirational video for a lot of women who are going with pressure in like high level positions. So I want to say
true.
congratulations to you, or we want to say congratulations to you. And if you have anything else you would like to say to your fans, or even people you're inspiring, that's your camera. You go ahead and say it right there. Any last words,
Yeah,
PSAs?
last words. I want to say for women out there, when it's time for you to stand in the room and carry the weight of being the only person that looks like you, and it can be you. You do know what you're doing, and just operate in the gratitude and knowing that your capability and your gift will come from there.
Amen to that.
Amen to that.
But last but not least, I have to thank my husband, David Freeman, the second Freeman that was in our family, but the most important Freeman in my life, just to say thank you for allowing me to try to do it all. It's not easy to be a mom, to be a head women's relays coach, to run an organization, but I just want to say thank you for allowing me to live in my fullest gift.
Thank you. Oh, go
You
ahead.
taking us out? Go ahead.
Yeah, man. Thank you guys for joining us today on Ready, Set, Go. Special guest, Miss Mechelle Freeman. We thank you for being here. Until next time on Ready, Set, Go.